SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception? First down? Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
The following is a presentation of Playfly Sports Properties and Michigan State Sports Properties. Good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023. That is right. Only 10 days away from your Spartans opening kickoff in Spartan Stadium. We are the only show about Spartan Dawgs hosted by Spartan Dawgs. This is Sparta MSU. I'm your host, Jason Strayhorn. Played center and team captain back in the Perlis and Saban eras. And my two dogs here, the boss, Otis Wiley, the ball hawking, hard hitting safety, and Jehuu Choo-Choo Caulcrick, the touchdown machine running that ball. You guys did that for the John L. Smith and D'Antonio era, all here at MSU. If this is your first time to the show, we want to welcome you. If this is not your first time, we want to thank you. And be sure to get into that live chat because that's where the party's at. It's already jumping over there. It's already happening right now. So please hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to follow us on all of our social media platforms at This is Sparta MSU. And let us know where you're watching from. And check out the new logos up there. You see that hashtag? Built on Will. Huh?
Yeah. Spartans will, and we know we're celebrating the 100th Spartan Stadium, the year of Spartan Stadium. So it's going to be a great season in honoring our past, and so we know that we've been built on will. So Spartans will, but we built on will. So it's a good little tagline. You'll see that all around when you come to campus in any and all of our sporting events. So check it out, follow it, hashtag, tag us, all the above. Follow that for sure. Built on will.
Built on will. Love it.
Gotta love it. They're watching us in Hawaii right now, fellas. Hey, gotta love that. Hey, prayers for Maui, but we envy the weather that's out there most of the time. Yeah, in Hawaii. MSU, fellas, had its second scrimmage and final scrimmage of camp this past Saturday to close out the fall camp. And we got a little video from that. Let's take a look.
I'm going to play smart, I'm going to play fast, I'm going to play physical. And I'm going to do it with a relentless mindset. I'm going on to this, I'm chopping. I'm out there trying to win a job. Show my coaches, hey, you got to play me. You ought to have your game face on.
You got me?
What's the name of the game? Hey! What's the name of the game? Hey! And let's do it then!
That don't get your juices flowing. I don't think you might want to check for a pulse.
It's crazy here. Just Coach Tuck's voice in there. I'm trying to win a job. I was like, hell yeah, that's what it's about.
Hey, Coach, you got to play me.
Right.
Absolutely. You think about it, like people always talk about, oh, I'm not getting no playing time. Everybody has the same ample of time to produce on the field in practice. This is where you win the jobs, right? And so I was able to go to the scrimmage and see it, live it and breathe it. Just the atmosphere was like a highly competitive mentality. Like you walk into it and they are doing the drills and it's very competitive. Like everyone's got the job to do. Like everybody has a mind that's focused on, we got to win this game. We got to win it. We have to have a successful season. It's hard to kind of follow too because you don't know the script, you don't know how everything flows. But like at every drill and every position, it was a high intensity and it was moving, and that's where you see a difference maker. And from not saying last season wasn't like that when they were preparing, but it's a different mindset. It's a different feel when you walk in there, and it's all about business. It's the sound. If you feel and smell business, and that's the element that I think Spartan Nation needs to understand. It's like these boys are preparing for battle, and it's a long season ahead. But I think everybody's gonna be satisfied with what they see on the field.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, and that's why I keep saying, and it started with me, after that weekend at Spartan DawgCon. I always knew we were going to be better than last season, but talking to the coaches, talking to it was actually at the Classics, talking to Coach Tucker, having that conversation with him, seeing where his mindset was at, and seeing the shift of how we've done recruiting this year. We've stepped back a little bit from the bright lights, and we've gone in and we looked inwards at ourselves and how we can improve. And then going to the Spartan DawgCon, listening to that speech, that fiery speech that he gave to the former players, talking to some of the players and getting their mindset, just listening to some of the words that they were saying in terms of we, us, our, different things like that. We will be ready for camp, not I will be ready. And that's a big shift and a big change from last year. And that's why I said, that 8-4, whew, if you finish 8-4, that's going to be because they're going to be really good this year. And so really excited about that. I have to give a quick shout out to Tim D in the chat from Toronto. And he has a Josh Allen logo back there. So he's a Bills Mafia guy and in Toronto guy there. I need to know the backstory there, Tim. Throw it in the chat there. Educate your boy, because us fellow Western New Yorkers, Canadians.
He's a Canadian, right? Oh, he knew the way to choose hard. Watching us in Toronto and Higgins Lake, too.
Who's in Higgins Lake?
Harry.
Harry, I'm in Boyne Mountain. So I don't know. Is that close? Is that close?
Right. I'm starting for college football to start too. Rel too true. Hey, we're all fired up about it, man. You guys you're spot on. Like, the mood is different. Obviously, I like to see that offensive line get gel. Right now they're going against one hell of a defense, guys. That defense is probably one of the best, in my opinion, going to be in the Big Ten. It's very deep. It's very big. Fast. I mean, you look at the linebackers. I mean, there's all kinds of guys over there. I think the defensive secondary, Otis, you could talk on this, will be much improved from a year ago. You got a lot of guys with experience now back there. They look the part all across the board, man. And, there's a lot of playmakers itching to get their name called on the offensive side of the ball, catching the ball. There's a lot of plays that are going to be out there with the losses of Peyton Thorne and Keon Coleman, who've moved on. Now we've got, a quarterback to be named soon. We're monitoring that situation closely. I do expect that to go deeper into the season a little bit. That's not something that Jehu's happy about, but it is what it is, right? So I think that the running back, you cannot forget Jehu's son, Nate Carter. That guy right there. Hey, look, those are when you can run the ball and you have a tight end like Malik Carr that can block and get out there and catch it. I think the coach told us, his coach said he was about 272 pounds this past week. Hey, that's a freight train. That's a runaway freight train right there.
Moving, and the thing too is the big part of his game that's improving is his blocking, his inline blocking. That's huge. So if he can do both of those things, it's going to be scary.
Not if he is doing, my brother.
Well,
he's doing.
Well, I want to see it. I want to see it September 1st.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But the odds are in the Spartans' favor. Every year with the odd number, the Spartans really have a good year. Go tracking all the way back to 2011. So do some research there, team out there. Every year that's an odd year, it's a really good year for the Spartans.
I just wish we had to bank on that odd year stuff, right? Consistency is key, my brother.
Hey, if you're superstitious, okay.
Yeah, you know what? It was crazy. I should have called you, Chew, when it was situational. It was in the script. Situational. Offense had to get out of the backs in the end zone. They had to get the first down.
Backed up.
And I mean, it was straight inside zone, and boy, Nate Carter went straight through that thing so fast, bro. Like, boom. And then you saw dudes trying to come up, and they try to hit him at that 1st and 10, like that 10-yard marker. And it was some trouble, brother. First
he's
down,
bringing the thunder. He's bringing it.
He's bringing the thunder. So then the best part was, he comes off, obviously they won that possession. Comes off, everybody, yeah, Nate. Coach Reed, and this is the best part about accountability. And like Reed was like, bro, take it home. Go home. like I get it. The first get home, go home. Take it to the stretch, home stretch.
Yeah.
But this was also when I walked in, Stray, I was walking in. You know how you go in that tunnel and it looks like you're on the mountaintop, like on the field, right? When you walking up, just to visualize, like it's tall. But when you get there, I was trying to figure out, like, are we this big or like am I just small? But like I was looking at the D line, and they were in team and they're standing tall, and I'm like, yo, this
Feel little, huh?
it ain't no little than us, bro. They are big, strong, wide, and just straight up downhill getting to the quarterback. And I was like, we got some fear. We put some fear in some teams, man, because we looked the part. You know what I mean? Like we looked the part, but it also transitions into we're having some productivity on the field. So
yeah, nothing wrong with that. Hey, true. What you were talking about, the odd years, looks like one Tony Manor just said 1987 Big Ten champs. He's in the chat. What's up, Tony?
Tony.
Fellow Canadian Tony.
Yeah, 79 in the house. The best to ever do it. Second best on here somewhere. But look, guys,
second best.
Not the number. You're right. Hey, Spartan Dawgs around the NFL, fellas. Let's talk about that. Like you had, Jaden Reed, man, catching a TD down there for the Packers. We got that video?
You know what?
Look at the boogie. Look at the boogie.
Look at it.
Look like it's just routine, huh?
Man, people say like he just has a way to get separation, like in transition, in traffic. Like you see him get off the line, boom, gets inside release, and then you just get to that linebacker beside, the level past the linebackers where you can kind of go under, and then the ball. That was a great ball. First of all, let's give him some credit. It was a great ball, but the route, obviously, the tree of getting him, and kudos to Spartan Dawgs' first touchdown, right? Like it's always, I never had the privilege to score a touchdown in the NFL, but I'm pretty sure that is the utmost top of the hill of your goals is to score. And in your first rookie year, like to have a score, I mean, that's huge. And then obviously we know he's going to do some great things, but great job, Jay Reed. Great job, brother.
Yeah, he's definitely doing a great job of separating himself. And here you see Connor Hayward's going to get a little piece of the action here. Sorry, Tom, we have to show this. It's against our team.
I don't know. I love him, but I saw a little push. I saw a little push.
Of course, that defensive guy there.
I didn't see no push.
I didn't see no push
like
either.
A good route
to me. Good job boxing out that DB.
He had a picture with another dog on the field, didn't he? Connor and Kevin Jarvis.
Did he?
Yes.
We gonna pull it up there?
I mean, I don't know. Do we have it, fellas? Maybe.
I don't know, but I know what's happening. We got our boy Josh Butler in Dallas.
How about that one?
That's in there. He's in the rotation. There he is. Him and K9.
Too deep. Like,
yeah. This is a guy that we saw. He had this opportunity. COVID took away a lot of things from a lot of those guys in this class, and he had the opportunity to come back. In the USFL with the Michigan Panthers and did a tremendous job. He balled out there and now getting this opportunity and making the most of it. That's just a testament to the type of guy that he is. When he was on the show here, he talked about, taking that Greyhound bus trip from, Texas all the way over, to East Lansing for his visit. That's the type of determination. You talk about built on will. Those guys are some of the people that are showing that day to day and representing Spartan Nation very well at the next level.
I love that you're on brand. I appreciate you on that. It looks just legit. It's really legit. To your point, he is a true testament of just, like you said, built on will, brick by brick. Somebody said the story, when he told us that story, when he got that call to go to Michigan Panthers, like, I'll be in the car tonight. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, he drove.
Right.
he drove from California to Detroit, right? So it's an element of it's great to see him. He has built it from ground up all the way to get to playing for the big Jerry world of the world's Dallas Cowboys, which is huge.
Back, he's home, right?
Absolutely,
he's home, and there's something a little extra about being at home, and you get to, like, you have that back in a family and everything there. You just get to relax and play. So really cool to see all these guys go and show out and represent Spartan Dawgs in that light at the next level there. Creating and paving the way for the future wave of guys that's coming up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of guys made some plays. Raekwon Williams was out there, made some plays. Matt Sokol, with the Patriots now. And so Raekwon is actually, where's he at now? I think he was with the Philadelphia Eagles. Now he's with Carolina. And then you have Matt Sokol, who's with the Patriots and playing tight end.
And our boy, Ben Van Summer, he's doing some things. He's shaking some trees in Philly. Yeah,
and they got a lot of players in Philly. A lot of defensive players.
I'm surprised we didn't get no photo of our lovely punter, right? Like,
that's what I was just going to throw out there. Our boy, Bryce Behringer. Bryce, he's booting
Ray
the hell
Guy
out of the football.
He is the Ray Guy award.
Yes,
absolutely. He should.
We're going to give him an honorary Ray Guy, just like we got to get K9 invite to New York sometime. It'll come for that Heisman candidate thing. But look, guys, MSU football ranked as a top 25 program of all time.
I'm just proud to be a part of it. That's my response. Honestly, I like to see analytics of like how this was voted, because there was a lot of different things that went into the vote, but clearly we've had success and it's very consistent success. Like, yeah, we may have some down years here and there, but we always rise to the top after every down year. So I'm proud that we have that. Now, hopefully it does transition to this year where we're back on top, but I'm glad to be a part of that top 25 list. That's a great recruiting piece for sure, from guys we're competing with in the nation and other schools that's listed in there. But it's still a good opportunity to be Michigan State's on that top 25.
Yeah, absolutely. That is something, it goes all the way back to the rich history of Spartan football, from the guys, from the Jimmy Rays, the Bubba Smiths, the Websters, the Tony Mandrich, to us, being part of this, storied program there. And it's something that we can be proud of, to be a part of a program that's, ever top 25 ever in the history of college football. So that is something that's really cool. And, to your point, Otis, that you're 100% right. You're a coach, you go in a talk to a family in a living room and you say, hey, how would you want to come and be a part of, a program that's been, part of the top 25 ever in the history of college football. The foundation's there. Now the sky's the limit for you.
No doubt about it. Getting back to that, I did see someone brought up Amir Speed with the Patriots. This is true, Gary. Thank you for that. And here we got the picture right now. Kevin Jarvis. We got it. Look at that. Cody.
Cody White.
Connor Hayward, Kevin Jarvis, Cody White. There you go. Spartan Dawgs.
Yeah, buddy.
Gotta love it, man.
That's good. Coach D's proud. Clearly, you see Coach D's proud. Sitting back like, I got my guys in the league, it's true testament.
Narduzzi on that sideline as well at that game.
Yeah, of course you should.
Won a lot of hugs and kisses out there. Coached a lot of those guys on both sides of the ball, and at Michigan State and at Pitt. So it's a lot of Spartan love all the way around, guys. We got to talk about this. This is the news. It's something that everybody's covering, but we would be lax if we did not cover what's going on at the school down the road. Jim Harbaugh and Michigan self-imposes a 3-game suspension for this season.
So, like, how does it get in the script? Like, man, I'm done with this dude. I'm done. Like, I don't have no comments on it. I'm just done with it. Like, it is what it is. Like,
that's par for the course. We knew that was what Otis' response was going to be today on that. I'm not saying nothing.
Oh, God, man. Like, wasted air. You know what I'm saying? Like,
listen,
clearly.
well, you got to have some feelings about this, right, Chew? Like, come on, is this good, bad, indifferent? You don't care?
There it goes. There it goes. I don't care right now, because clearly they can do whatever the hell they want to do and just get the slap on the wrist. Oh, we're going to self-impose, whatever, man. Like y'all got a different judicial system and from a standpoint.
No. This is not done.
Oh, it's definitely not done. Absolutely. It's not done, but they think this self-imposed is going to be like, oh, we're good. No, I hope they come down with the hammer, boy. It's coming. It's coming. And it's going to be prime time right before they come down to be
Harbaugh about to go down like Mary J. Blige.
That's a good one.
Sean never ceases to make. He's got him, man. He's a crack one. Hey, look, Chew, any comments on this?
Yeah, like I said, when we first talked about this, I think there's something bigger. It's more than a cheeseburger. It's more than, it's the ethics of everything. I think there's something a lot bigger to this whole thing than it is. And I think Michigan knows that. And that's why they're trying to get ahead of it right now with that 3-game self-imposed suspension that's going on right now. But, once again, to all the Michigan fans that were, bitching and moaning when the NCAA came out with 4, and, they're like, oh, it's not NCAA, it's out to get them. What do they say now? What say ye now that Michigan's coming out and saying, okay, there's something. So if I'm those Michigan fans, I'm clutching my pearls a little bit now. I'm a little worried because I understand this. If the school is putting a self-imposed suspension, there's something bigger that's unrailing, that's going to be coming out in the future there. So I'm wondering what it is that's happening. But at the end of the day, Jim's not going to be, he's going to serve these 3 games. The season's going to be done. He's going to ship out before the heat gets on him. So that's what's going to happen. He's going to go somewhere. There'll be some team that'll want him.
In the NFL?
Yes, he's going to go back to the league. Where he can buy cheeseburgers.
As long look, it's not gonna be like Pat Fitz going to high school. It's like we don't know, man. I know he has a strong staff to carry him, obviously, when he's done. And I don't know if it's next man up mentality. It's time to just cut ties. All right, get the future of someone's going to be there, not threaten every year that they're going to leave or go to the league. I mean, it is. They got other things they got to deal with, but. I don't know. It's tough to call it. I kind of feel like Chew's on the right path here. He's kind of been doing his chew ball a couple of times, been correct, So, he's striking hot now. But I mean, I honestly, man, I'm not wasting no more air and breath on this, man. Let's win. Let's win, and let's beat them when they come to Beast Lansing. Simple as that.
Chew's crystal ball has spoken. Go ahead, Otis. I'm sorry about that, man.
No, you're good.
Hey, man.
Hey, it's not coming back in here into this show. Let's win. Let's beat this one.
Let's win. But I don't think this is a scenario where Michigan has gotten off scot-free here whatsoever. But this is definitely a situation where Michigan is trying to get in front because they know that the NCAA is pissed off. Call it what it is. The NCAA is not happy that there was an unwillingness to tell the truth once he was cornered, right? So it's obviously not a hamburger when they're bringing a self-imposed 3-game. But the NCAA didn't like 4. They didn't like the 4-game suspension. So they come back with their own 3, which they're bracing for more. And I think it's going to be more of they need to get away from the entire team, not just suspended from a game, be away from the team, maybe lose some official visits, maybe scholarship. I don't know. There's a lot of things they can do. I don't think they're going to kill the Michigan football program at all, but I think that they are not happy with one Jim Harbaugh.
You think he should just say, I plead the 5th? 1, 2, 3, 4,
5. Man. Oh, my goodness. Maybe, you know what? Let's get on because I know we want to talk to our special guest. And Kurt Richardson joins us after this message from our friends over at IHOP. Drop the pancakes.
$5 all-you-can-eat pancakes are back to celebrate IHOP's 65th anniversary. So come on in, even if it's your birthday, too. Available for a limited time, only at IHOP. Download the app and start earning free food.
Well, according to my Twitter feed, Kurt Richardson just got named the Director of Player Engagement for Michigan State football. And Kurt joins. This is Sparta MSU. Welcome to the show, Kurt.
Man,
what's going on? What's going on?
I know.
Where'd I got Choo-Choo go?
Hey,
man,
He dropped
He
like a
couldn't take
bad
it
habit.
He blew up.
I
Too
got to
much
shout
Harbaugh
him out.
discussion.
That was a Brett Mellon-esque stat that he gave us. I like that. So word to
you
his guy
always
Brett
talk
Mellon,
odd years.
stat boy. Odd years. You feel me, Jehuu?
Oh, look at him. What's that you got on,
Yeah,
Chew?
that boy's switching.
Oh, don't mind me. Just a little something, something.
Oh, yeah?
This is Sparta gear.
Oh, clean.
Oh.
You know, a little this is Sparta gear right there.
Clean. That
Man,
boy did the
how you
Ante
living?
Beyonce on
That
us.
boy
and
said, he
changed.
did say, let me get that taco meat out there too.
Right? Clean, freshly shaved. Not even shaved because I got the African smooth.
Got the chest hair popping. Hey, we didn't want you to come into this debauchery right now, this ridiculousness. Kirk, congratulations on your new position at Michigan State football, brother. Like, let's get to know you. Let's get the Spartan fans to get to know who Kirk Richardson is.
Sure.
And your involvement. Like, you had some involvement at Michigan State back in the days, right? In the early 90s, mid 90s, late 90s? When was it?
Really quickly, yeah. It's funny because life goes on, you forget about it. But at KT's wedding, Jehuu, me, Richard Bryce, a couple other people, Josh Thornhill, we were talking about, that fateful day in the late 90s. So I had came to I was an okay football player. I wasn't as good as you guys. I'm a pretty good wrestler though. Put them things on you. But because of how profile Josh was at my high school getting recruited, I had met some of the coaches, and there was an opportunity for me to join the team in the fall, the summer, which is essentially just joining Mr. Manny in the summer. And that worked out well for me for like 90, 100 days. And then one day over there, we were doing some 110s. And I think we all had one number in mind, and he had a different number in mind. And so I went from becoming a walk-on to a run-off. And what happened is, outside of the guys we were just talking about telling this story before Caleb's wedding, is I just remember looking up at Ivory McCoy. You guys remember Ivory?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Freak nature. Yeah.
Roy
man.
was chiseled, man. And I'm just looking at him and Dwan Moss, and I'm like, oh, I'm not the same type of human being as these people. Like, we were on like 21 or 22 110s in old Spartan Stadium, like on the magnifier glass. And I was like, okay, that'll do. And so, but with that, I knew all the guys, knew all the staff. Me and Caleb were trying to think of Mike Vollmer's name today, all these throwbacks and just people that are behind the scenes of the program. I had to text Jehuu. At the time, we hadn't even had this lined up, but Caleb and I couldn't even move on from our conversation. Like, who was the housing guy back in the day? So my experience with that was great because it gives me a real appreciation for the level, especially all three of you guys went through. You know what I mean? I know about the half gasser test. I know about those 110s. I know about hills on mills. I know about 300s. I know about tracing the inside, like with the 2x4, like, you guys paid the price. And so that was my brief experience with it. Went and played fullback up at Ferris State, where I was much more in my element. And,
Big Rapids, baby.
yeah, up in Mecosta County. So that's, I'm a local kid. I grew up in Cranbrook Housing Projects and all around Lansing, really. Charlie Thornhill, who Jehuu left off our list of legends with Jimmy Ray and all those guys. Josh and Caleb's dad was an important part of my life. I needed all the help I could get because not only were we from the bottom, but I was also a knucklehead. Strayhorn's one of his best friends, Rev. Rashad took care of me. I didn't even go to his school. So I was one of these guys. I look at it like it's almost like Moses in the basket. People were passing me from one thing to the next and really helping me, and people poured into me in a way that I didn't earn or deserve. And then things clicked a little later in life, and we ended up with some walking around money and had some access to opportunity, and it just made sense. Like, how could I not? You know what kind of dude you would be to not do the same stuff that got done to you? And I'm fully aware, sometimes people have ego or something, self-made. I am community made. Like, I am lucky to have had all this stuff happen to me because, it would have been easy for this to go left 1,000 times. And I participated in it going left a bunch of times. But luckily, the community and a bunch of people poured into me in a way that it didn't make sense. But now they're going to get that back, not just here, but I mean, you guys know me off in real life. Like, wherever I can get it back to people, we get it back to them.
Yeah, Kurt. First of all, congratulations. I think, knockout out of the park hire, bringing you around the program, around the young men that we're building, not just to be successful, athletes when they're done, but successful husbands, fathers, and everything like that. Shout out to that hire. I think you're going to do a great job there. Really, excited about you coming on board there. And just so you know, I understand the pain of those 300s when you come back and you see a guy doing, dancing and singing. That was Otis and Rob.
What was it?
Yeah. Out there hurting and
the DBs, man.
Mm-hmm. Built for speed, baby, and distance.
Yeah. But those are those guys there. But really cool. You've done a lot of stuff outside. Like, I was fortunate, through Caleb and everyone got an opportunity to know you on a personal level and, talk to you and see from the outside what you were doing. And I even saw, like, when we were at Mike's wedding, there was the Patriots were staying in the same hotel, and you were there for the wedding, but those guys were coming to you, because you've had an impact on their life. You were sitting eating dinner, they're coming up to you and saying what's up and everything like that. So I'm just excited for, all those things that you're going to bring to Michigan State. So I guess my question to you is, what are you most excited about, being part of this Spartan program now?
I'm going to let the cat out of the bag on something. Excited's not the word of the day around Michigan State. We're prepared around here right now. So what I'm most prepared for is the opportunity so I know Malik and Trey Mosley, so Malik Carr, Mosley, Avery Dunn, Mav. There was a whole crew of guys that were like in my crew of people that I kind of just had an attachment to through the natural progress of stuff. And I always did feel good, like, oh, I'm helping these guys. But the reality is these are high quality people. Jacoby, some of these guys that I've met, I'm like, oh, they're going to win in life anyways. And the opportunity to be in the building, you all know, on any roster of 115 guys, you got 20 or 30 dudes in there that are 50-50 dudes in life. And I can't reach them if I'm not in the building. They're not coming to the extra programming. They're not Angela Monty and Bree and Darvin, they do a great job with their stuff. They're not coming to any of that. And so if I'm not in the building or someone like me is not in the building, how do we reach those folks? And so that's the number one thing that I am prepared to do, is to deliver on this opportunity. And then two, I was 60-40 in on this because you don't know. Darien had done a great job. Darien Harris, who was the previous player engagement person, great person, big shoes to fill because he did such a great job. He had let me know before any of this popped up, like, what I think is great is coach actually cares. And so I've been in a lot of programs where it's just check it off the list. It's a PR thing. And I don't want to participate in any of that. Got a pretty good life. So I don't want to be in the building every day if it's just to check it off the list. So that was sitting on the shelf in my head. And when it looked like this was going to come together for me to have a chance to interview, I went in Tucker's office and we got right in the mix right away on that. Like, I'm just here to meet you to figure out, like, this is what I'm hearing. If this is true, man, I'm going to do everything I can to make myself the obvious choice. I know there's other people that want this and stuff, but here's what I bring. But I'm only interested in doing it if these 4 or 5 things are true, which I'm hearing are true about you. And we had I think a really productive meeting on it. Learned a lot about what he cares. And the thing that popped out of that is that he and I agree on this. And you three are all an actual example of it, which is that ultimately winning has to be more than like memories and games, wins and losses, letters, all that stuff. Because if we're not sending people out to be leaders in communities, households, companies, this is a great game. It's the best game on earth, in my opinion. And it's a great way. It's a great tool to attract young men who normally wouldn't have some of these teaching tools. But the end of the day is, if we're not making that impact, did we win? Like, if you're not creating winners, what do these wins mean? And so he and I were lockstep on that, eye to eye, totally agreed on that. And I believed him. Like, I don't have a previous relationship with him. I've been around the program for a while. I've been consulting. I've been in the room a lot. That's how I knew some of these guys coming in. But that was our first connection. And I left there like, okay, I can't let these guys know this. I can't let our guy Ashton Henderson know this, Cody Cox know this, but I'm 100% in. Just walking through the rest of that interview, which was a really long day. But, I went into it, you don't know how people are in real life. And that dude is about this. He's about this life. He understands these dudes will be doing something else for the rest of their lives at some point. No, even if they get to take this Saturday experience and turn it into a Sunday experience, they'll be doing something else Monday through Friday, just like the rest of us.
Yo, Kurt, you touched on it. I think it's the access that you built from a standpoint of you have the pipeline to where they want to go. Like you've legitimately lived it, breathed it, and you're not just faking the walk. You truly are talking it, walking it. We had an interesting visit over to Detroit, and it was an element that I think for me, even me personally, being part of the working group and organizing this, I was able to see kind of what you poured into those student athletes. Like, man, like these student athletes do not know how great they have it with the resources. Mm-hmm. And it's the best time to be a student athlete now than it was in the past because they have every resource at their fingertips. And I think you challenge in a way that it's authentic, because people can challenge and just like come over the top of your head, like Bible preaching, like beat you with the Bible, but you're challenging in a way that it's empowering. And I think that was the element that truly you already had the job, like without even having to do the interview, I feel like in our opinion, but how do you see it now? It's only been 2 weeks, not even that, right? But how do you see the current state of our student athletes as a whole? Like, we have our good ones, we have the ones that are representing us, our brand ambassadors, they're doing the right thing. And like you said, you have the ones that they need a little bit more love and more tough love. But how have you digressed or just assessed the current state of the student athlete mind for the football team itself? Because that's what I guess Spartan Nation wants to hear and see for sure.
For sure. I think it's one of these things, like anything we're dealing with. Appreciate you bringing that up about the hotel, Jehuu. So like Devin Godshaw is a starting defensive tackle in the NFL. He's one of the biggest human beings on earth.
Yeah.
But with communication, you can reach that heart, which is the same side as everybody else's. And so I'm able to go to a room, for whatever reason, I got blessed with the gift of gab in that way, and get young people to explore the unknown, especially where we come from. And I'm from Cranbrook or Comstock, or depending on in Lansing where you met me, we moved 20 some times before I got out of high school. Like, lights off. I had a really hard life, and other people do too. And ultimately, if you don't make it, there's really no one selling cookies for you. You got to figure it out. And people did that figuring out for me. And all I've been able to do, I really believe, is whether you're Devin Godshaw or a freshman on this campus under our care as a football program, I can talk to this thing right here and get people to explore the unknown. Right? There's in our community, we like to exaggerate the known. We're all going to be rappers. We're all going to be ball players. We're all going to have a Sunday experience. And so we get really good at exaggerating the unknown. And every time you cross one of those barriers, like, well, you won't be good in high school, and then you're a 2-star or 3-star. Well, you won't make it in college, then you're a starter. Well, you won't make it in the pro. You get used to thinking, oh, none of this stuff applies to me. But LeBron James is going to have a Monday through Friday experience. He'll do something. He's going to be a young man when he's done. He'll be a grown-up, and he'll be 41. And the way he took care of his body, he's going to live to be 100 unless there's something unfortunate happen, right? And also, this is what the young people forget. You got to be great at something. You became a 1%er. You think you want to go be average for 40 years now? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. And so I try to be able to speak to that right there, which is, okay, we have 650,000 living alumni at Michigan State University. They don't know what that means. I have to explore that. We have to explore that with them. It takes all of you and everyone in our building, and Angela and Ashton and Cody and all of this ecosystem, because it's not what you teach, it's what you emphasize. We ought to all pour that into them. Like, there's 650,000 jokers wearing the same gang as you, and they're at Louis Vuitton. They're at Pixar. They're at William Morris Endeavor. They're at Google and Nike. They're already there, and you have something in common with them. How do we? No, we can't. We're not doing that anymore, where you come here for 48 months and we don't put you on with them. We're not, my blood pressure get up, Otis. Like, watching. You can't watch it. You guys know you can't watch football with Otis because he'll get going. So look it in your chat real quick. This has nothing to do with Spartan football, but Harriet Dean, I did something for the kids. Her and her husband put in on it. 2 years later, they're like, hey, this kid has these needs. This is years ago. I've never even talked about this ever. Boom, we break that off immediately. There's people out there doing all this stuff, and it's just about connecting the dots. So now how do we take these kids who have access, like we always talk about, access, I always joke with the fellas, we're not even supposed to know about that. Like when I was a kid, I thought we were poor because I didn't have Jordans, but I had it bad because no one could come save me. Like I didn't have access to anyone that could do anything about it, right? These kids have access. They have 650,000 people that have came through this university and are doing what they may want to do. They don't understand that I don't care if you're number 1 on the roster or number 115, you have an attention getter. And that thing is gone when you leave here. Now that creates both sides of things. You know, one of the things I'm trying to do is re-recruit everybody back to the university. I'm actively re-recruiting any player that hears this to come back. And I know sometimes people feel like, oh, you know, what did the university do for me? And part of it is we didn't have mechanisms in place to help you take advantage of it. So now we got to come tell that story to these young boys because I can't do it by myself. Darien can't. You all can't. We need an army of people doing this. And then, by the way, if we can re-engage in other ways, I have a personal obligation or duty that I want to do that. But it starts with we got to get people back telling their stories. And this is not a knock on academia, and this is my first interview, so I don't want to get in trouble, but we have always had a tradition of reaching out to super, super successful people that are alumni. But we got some dudes that came through and became probation officers or whatever people think is a regular life. Of these 115 young men, some of them are going to have that regular life, and we got to encourage that too. We can't just everybody ain't going to the league. Everybody's not going to the boardroom. So we need everybody. There's time, talent, and treasure. I'm not going to be talking to anybody about treasure. Like I want to talk about how do we use your time and your talent, your know-how, and get you back here to show these young dudes something. And you should want to do it if you're one of these people that didn't have a great experience in your mind. Why is that? It's because we hadn't done that before. So now you're either going to perpetuate that or you're going to help out with it. And the door is open.
It's wide open. Kurt, I mean,
yes.
I mean, you're obviously an impressive young man, individual, right, that has made it as far as the players now see and all of us can see. You know, you talk about your humble beginnings and, you know, you've gone all the way to the NFL working with the guys like Caleb Thornhill with Miami Dolphins and been around the league talking to those players and helping them. Like, where does this come from? Like, where did you know, I know that you started from humble beginnings, but what do you attribute your success to?
Man, I had a wrestling coach. So the Ferris story is not the end of the story. I end up going there and then being in Knucklehead University. I always talk about people got promoted. I'm on the school board now, and one of my principals is on there. And he promoted me to one of the 4. I went to 4 middle schools. I went to all 4 middle schools. So I've been promoted a bunch in my life.
Promoted, huh?
Yeah. The last college coach I had, his name is Clark Bentley. He's a wrestling coach. And I alluded to a little bit of the thing that he had. And this is always tough because there's the elements of race and young people and stuff. But he said, Kurt, everything you have, other people gave you. And if you don't make it, there's not like some fundraiser from kids from the projects who didn't make it. Like if you want people to feel bad for you, then you already won because we do feel bad that you had it hard. But that's the end of the line. Some sympathy. And, I played fullback, really good wrestler, and a street kid. I didn't have a lot of fear growing up. I'm ready to do it. Like, even I'll get old and sometimes I'm like, dang, maybe I'm not anymore. But for a long period of time, I was, we could cash the check at any place. But I was terrified when he said that. It was like a baptism. Like it hit me like, oh, I had a winter coat because someone gave me a winter coat. Somebody drove me to my appointment. Somebody gave me the money to go to summer school so I was eligible. Somebody paid for my driver's license test. You know what I mean? Like my dad was in town and successful, but we didn't have a relationship, and then you get to some point where you don't. And so it's not like I couldn't have gone to him, but like I just wouldn't have. And so these other people, you don't know when people are helping you out what that means because they got other responsibilities and stuff and you don't have it. I didn't even know until like I was talking to my wife a year ago that other people knew I was poor, right? This guy who just passed, his diehard Spartan, Carlos Tackett, at wrestling meets, every week he would give me $10 at the end, probably hella violation in 1997. And he would have me go get him something trivial and say, just get yourself something too. And I'm just thinking, oh, like I'm running an errand for him. But then you get to be an adult and you're like, oh, he knew I didn't have food at the tournament. And straight, them tournaments all day.
All day long.
And so like when that clicks, you're like, wait a second. These people knew and they chose to act. And so what I'm on a mission for is like, we know these guys are going to be judged from the neck up at some point. Coach Manny always talks about sperm hit the egg and some of the DNA figured itself out. But when the Sunday opportunity closes, none of that DNA matters anymore.
Right.
Most dudes aren't ready for that check to come in the mail. They're not ready to do anything with that, which is crazy because if we build this fence around him, and it starts with Coach Tucker, I'm telling you, you guys think I get passionate. When we got right into the mix on it. I know exactly how he feels about this and how serious he takes it. I know exactly how serious he takes it. And you need an army of those people, right? Because we forget, right? I'm just talking to a player today. That position coach, they got to focus on football. Because if you don't catch that thing, they'll be somewhere else. And they don't want to be somewhere else. They want to be here. So they speak to you with a certain swiftness and expeditiousness about football. And so if they have 50 minutes with you, they're going to spend that on football. Totally get it. How do we build a fence around these people that we got people pouring into them in the same way? And that's going to take all the SD4Ls. You know, I reached out to Jake Green and tried to get the message out and all that stuff. It ain't a one-person job. It ain't a two-person job. It probably ain't a 200-person job. You know what I mean? So I know people have high hopes for me. I have high hopes for myself. But if we don't all do it, then we're all, as much as we have good intent, then we're all fronting.
Well, then look, knowledge. Everybody's like, take them to church.
A lot of tools you drop in there, Kirby. A lot. Damn. It's not what you teach, it's what you emphasize. Otis, what you
Believe
think?
that. Look at this. So here's why I talk to NFL guys. You're talking about the elitist people that have ever lived.
Mm-hmm.
You know, somebody told me, my guy who's a scout for he's a scout for the Colts. He said, Kurt, there's 1,600 people that can play in the NFL, and there's not 1,700. You know what I mean? Like, wrap your brain around that. Like, it's not, society thinks, oh, I was just this close. You know, it almost happened for me. He's like, no, there ain't another 100 people on, like, the 52nd, 53rd, and then the 4 or 5 practice players, right? When you add all that up, that's about 40, 50, 60 guys. There's like 40 other dudes that can play that we didn't find.
Right.
It's so small. But every one of those guys has something our guys have, which is they learn the power of repetition. Otis, you've seen me do this. I talk about it. I don't want to we send these boys and girls out when I work with student athletes to go do something. We're going to get reps. We're going to get game reps. And you're going to be uncomfortable because it's not only what you teach, it's what you emphasize. It's like, how do I know you can do it?
Mm-hmm.
People get around these elite athletes and they don't want to role play. We're going to talk about consent with the freshmen in a couple of days. We're going to role play consent. I know that's uncomfortable. But I'm riding with these dudes for the rest of their lives. I'm not going to be sitting in a courthouse somewhere if something goes sideways and think, damn, I didn't say anything. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about decision-making because I watched what happened with Coach Saban. We know that he's a hard person. I watched what happened to his throat when he's trying to explain how he wasn't blaming it on his buddies, but when he's saying no guy grabs Henry Ruggs' keys, I saw what happened to his throat when he tried to say that out loud. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to be sitting somewhere and we didn't do it because we didn't role play this. So we know from football what works. Watch it, do it, coach it, do it. Write it down because you're going to need to remember it later and we got to make it timely and relevant. We know how to teach these boys. It's just that, again, everybody else, I get it. They go in the room, they got 50 minutes. Ephraim's got to teach these dudes to tote this thing and never, ever, ever, ever fumble it. So he can't spend too much time on consent. Jay Johnson's got to get this quarterback thing right. You know, I don't know personnel, but like they got to speak and move with a certain swiftness. There's only so much time in the 20-hour rule. So I don't have any expectation on anybody else in the room. I do for everybody that's listening to this. I do for the groups that we're emailing behind the scenes. I do have an expectation that we build a fence around these boys and make this the most elite place for off the field in the country. Saban's doing that right now with Clinton Dix. He just hired him to do the same thing. Why? Because has something I don't have, which is he played in the league, so he can call any Alabama graduate and get them there right meow. You know, we're going to have to work together. I'm going to have to pull some strings to get some people around. We're going to have to do it as a community. They smartly hired him because if they know dude wants a job shadow at such and such place, they can move with a certain swiftness that we can't move with right now. But we will be the most elite place for player engagement in the country. I know that. I got too much mentorship. Caleb, you know, Marcus Pollard, David Thornton down to the Colts. Like, people have poured into me. And what gets lost, sometimes I was thinking about this in the interview, everybody does it a different way with the 32. So if I go up with JU's people, Marlon Kerner, who was there at the Bills, he wants it done a certain way. Caleb wants it done a certain way with the Dolphins. David Thornton wants it done a certain way with the Colts. You know, Ashley Lynn wants it done a certain way with the Giants. So I didn't even realize this till the interview, you're getting like I'm like an offensive coordinator who learned 5 systems. You know what I mean? I'm coming with that. Like, so it's really just a matter of, do we execute any of this? I'm not lost on my communication abilities. I know people will feel good hearing this. And that is a piece of it. We got to feel good about it because we'll act. But I don't want people to like sit around and think about it. I want people to say, Stray, Otis, Choo, how do I get a hold of this guy? Because I'm ready to help. That's the reason I'm on here, by the way. And by the way, I know an element of this because I know us would be joking. So I hope anyone's not thinking, dang, this dude's too serious. We have fun. It is football.
Hey, you just got your nomination for President of the United States right here.
Oh, there we go.
Marlon Milano.
Getting them 10,000 school board votes as a 2.0 student was hard enough.
I know a little something about that.
Hey, one is like we already talked to chop it up. Of like we already got things cooking to line up the corporate partners because we talked at the scrimmage. It was like there's no reason why we don't have externships or summer internships for every player at every summer. Like, and we're talking like it's tangible, not pushing paper, tangible on hands-on work experience, so that when they leave here, it's just not football. It's just not, I'm hanging out. And so I'm looking forward to it because, like you said, me being a former player, I'm more passionate about giving those experiences back. And we showed it just as a little glimpse of the Detroit tour and connecting with our current partners and then going to other cities. But, I'm excited, man, that you're on staff. And I know that it's more of a trust factor. I know your heart, and I know that it's going to give the utmost attention to the guys that need it the most, but also everyone's going to get the same Kurt. It's like it's almost like you cater certain things, but everybody that meets Kurt, it's the same Kurt, no matter what day it is. And I think that's the element of we need that in that football facility for sure.
Yeah. And here's 2 quick examples, tangible stuff. I'm working with a guy yesterday. We had to take him to take care of some stuff, and we're talking, just chopping it up. And he's like, I can't do X, Y, and Z because I don't have a ID. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, yeah, I was supposed to get one this summer. And I just stopped him right there. I said, do you have money in your account? Because I don't know the way any of it works, but I know they have more money in their accounts now than you 3 did.
That's damn true.
I don't know about Choo though.
Oh yeah, we talked about him.
We talked about that.
Hey, I don't know what the statute of limitations is, so I'm just gonna say I don't know what you're talking about. But that guy Choo. Mr. NIL. So I'm like, go online right now. I go online, I send him the link, and we just order his. It's Michigan. You order the ID right there. It's on the way today. Right now, it's on its way. It took like 90 seconds. Now, I know people get frustrated. This is another one of these things that I've taken away from some of these coaches. Like, I watch how they do treat the rookies a little different. Now they're on the ass. Like you can get cut for being on the ground as a rookie. Like if you can't stay up, you could get up out of there. Mm-hmm. But they also know we're in the young people business, right? Dudes are paying their mortgage on 17-year-old, 18-year-old, 20-year-old brains that's not even the full human brain yet, right? If we just go into that piece of it. Right. Somebody's going to put their kids in the college they want because of this young person. So we know you can't just say, go do that. They don't have context for that. So we have to show them. We have to tell, show, do. And I get it. There's people that definitely get jaded, like, oh, we always got to tell Kurt the same thing. Okay, but how is Kurt supposed to ever know? If all the people around him are just frustrated that Kurt doesn't know, if somebody doesn't do that, how does it happen? And then how do we teach Kurt that because we did this for you, you have a duty. You have an obligation to now do this for other people. That's what this game is all about, like on that side. Like, yep, we're going to work with you and do business as business is being done with you as an individual. Some people, Trey Mosley, shout to him, he's going to figure it out probably with one try. Mm-hmm. But we shouldn't be putting feathers in the cap because we got him to take an action, right? Who's the person walking down the hallway that they're like, dang, I got to check on this person? That's who we got to pour into with a willingness, with an eagerness. And that's not to say that's not being done or hasn't ever been done, but I'm just saying that's what I'm bringing to work every day is I'm eager to deal with that person who is me circa 1998, 1999, but because they're mentally tougher than I was at that age, they get this experience. I'm not letting them mess it up. to any degree that I can control it. So that's one. The other is you have players, and I try to stay out of the personnel stuff, but I love football. I love ball like you guys do. We see it the same way. I've watched games with Otis. We talk pro stuff with Jehuu. I've been at a lot of NFL practices, a lot. So good ball when you see it, but you also know when a young person does 3 things right and then they make a mistake in a drill, that the coach remembers the mistake. Why? Because they don't have a lot of equity when they're young. So that one mistake, that dude's walking around the facility thinking that was one mistake. Somebody has to tell him that's not just one mistake. That's 25% of the reps you got today got messed up because you had 4 chances and you messed one of them up. And you got to have that, what coach calls like confront and demand. Like, you can't let it go. You have to see it and address that stuff right then before it gets in somebody's head. And all of a sudden they think people don't like them. It's like, no, you did do 3 things right. But because you only got 4 reps, you got to do all 4 right? You guys, you've been around the league and stuff. You see, you might sit there all day and get 2 chances. You can't mess one up and be like, well, I only got 2 chances. No, you'll be out of there on Tuesday. Every Tuesday, dudes get cut. And so we're lucky to have a system where we got guys for months at a time. But make no mistake about it, we're re-recruiting every dude on this roster every day because we have to do business as business is being done. And business is being done right now that kids can leave for anything.
Kirk,
So
there's a lot of
if I can explain that, it's not just 1 rep. Don't be pouting because you think you messed up 1 of 4. It's 25% of the reps you had got messed up. No one can put you in a game with that kind of data. So it ain't personal. But someone's got to tell them that. And again, I'm not allowed NCAA to coach tactics or strategies, but we can talk about mindset of stuff. Like, hey, you got to make every rep count. You got to, like, that's in life, right? Forget ball. Like, you might not get 6 interviews. You got to make them count.
There's no redos. I like that. Look, man, like, there's a lot of people in the chat. They're asking questions. Like, here it is right here from Alonda. Kirk, what can alums like us do to help you with these young athletes?
Rolanda, that's a great question. So we're going to try to build this council of people who are 2 feet in. We're going to vet them with compliance, vet them with Spartan Fun and SD4L and everything else so that we're not stepping on anybody's toes. And we're going to be given marching orders, right, for the next 90 days, just so everybody is clear. For the next 90 days, we're focusing on what happens on Chestnut, right? None of this works if these guys ain't playing ball, right? So we got to admit the circumstances of it, which is, I'm going to get some decision-making stuff going with these freshmen. And really my job, Rolanda, is to build a coalition of the willing of people who want to be a part of this, just get everybody screened. And then I want, again, I want it to be like, if somebody has an idea, right? I've had some success and I know the way to do this, but I don't know every way to do this. So I'm not moving through the world thinking, I'm moving through the world with the suggestion box all the way open too. So that would be the first thing. I can get some information to these people. We'll also see some of this stuff. But if you send, like, let's say Otis or whoever, somebody gets her email, I'm building the list. Me and Ashton talked about it today, right? Well, how do we build a coalition of the willing of people that are like, hey, I want to pour in. How can we teach them what the needs are? And then how do we, this is my big thing. I'm so bad at like being in the world. I almost just said somebody's name. But let's say we got a guy that's not ready to be out in the world yet. Okay. And we got guys like that, and every program does. If we could convince them that entry-level job, because we're not paying you a ton of money to do this, is worth the wait before you go back to the crib. Because I want to send guys back to Detroit, New Orleans, Los Angeles, Miami when they're 25, not when they're 22. So if we have a way in town with inside compliance and everything's on the up and up to give somebody a foot in the door, even if it's not what their dream job is, but if I can keep them in this system, if I can keep them around this program for a little bit, even if it's peripheral, before I send these dudes back with their undeveloped brain, right? Before we send them back to where we know we come from, a lot of dudes in that building, we can't send dudes back to Flint if they're going to make the young people choices. Like, but I know they'll be different at 25. I know that. People try to tell me, like, young people love to live this life. I don't give a F. I don't give a F. I'm like, that doesn't exist. You just don't have anything to lose. Mm-hmm. So of course you don't. You don't have anything to lose. And my role is to help you get something to lose. Because watch what happens then. Mm-hmm. When you got skin in the game, when you're playing for something, all of us are playing for something. Wives, children, like you know what I mean? Like we can't. And again, young people don't know that if you don't tell them. They think that they're special. They think they're tough. We talk about toughness, selflessness, and relentless. Okay, it ain't tough to not give an F. It's just you
Right.
haven't done enough. It's a bad thing. You got nothing to lose.
Really bad.
Right? Like that's wild, but you know where we come from. Sometimes we embrace that. Sometimes that's a badge of honor. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not scared of jail. Well, jail ain't scared. Jail ain't tripping if you're scared or not. They lock the doors every night for everybody the same way. It don't matter.
That's like saying, I fear God, homie. Like,
okay. But you get stitched up the same way. And so, but again, my whole thing is the message. We'll have mechanisms soon, Rolanda, and the ideas got to flow, and we got to vet them because we are in academia, which I'm a compliance scaredy cat, bro. I'm scared of everything. I just
hold on, Alan, your leader is definitely going to keep you in line. We have
I have support. I have support.
Much definitely.
But I've been able to do whatever I want. I can go into the Carolina Panthers and talk any kind of way I want because they're bringing me there for that, and they know how you got to reach these guys. You know what I mean? And so there's no rules. Like here, there's rules. You know. And it's there's a right way to do it, and you got to loop in. Again, I'm learning you got to loop in all these people. Right? I sent an email today, and I had like 6 people CC'd on it, and the first email back came, "Oh, make sure you also put so and so on these kind of emails." And I'm like, "Yep."
Quick learner.
Yeah, you got to be because I understand too. If people don't know me, this is the hard part. If people don't know me, it could look like I'm trying to be a hero. But the message is, I cannot do this job. I can't. It's like we don't expect anyone to like win with one good player and 10 bums, right? We know it takes a team. But sometimes when you come in and move and shake and look like the shiny object, people will be like, that dude's bugging. I'm not. I'm saying from the get-go, this all just sounds good if we don't do it.
Damn. Well, Kurt, man, and these are some of the reasons why when people ask me, why are you optimistic about, this year's season? It's stuff like this. It's the culture that Coach Tucker's building. It's the people that he surrounded himself with it's bigger than X's and O's. And I think once, the players learn that and that's ingrained in them and they embrace and embody that, it's going to be the dominance on the field. Once you take care of your stuff in-house, you're going to be able to go out and play freely. And that's what, that's the reason that I really feel like, we're in for a really good year is because of the group that's there, that's leading these young men, the people that surrounded that building there, the Scandalairs building, Duffy Doherty building, the Weave, whatever you want to call it. Tom Izzo locker room, Tom Izzo building, all those things. The people that are in there, like you said, 2 feet in, and it's going to transpire and it's going to show on Friday and Saturday nights. But Kurt, appreciate you jumping on, man. I think it's going to be a really good ride with you there. We have people that's in the chat that jumping to help out and everything, and I love how that open door policy to the former Dogs, to anyone that wants to be an integral part of the program for the right reasons. I really appreciate that.
I love it. Hey, now here's the thing. Always be closing, right, Otis?
Always ABC, baby.
Always. That's what I'm saying. Lunch. We're going to do a lunch. We're going to do a lunch and learn and network with the local people. Like, that's what we're going to set up.
Here's what we need. At some point, I'll know how to answer questions better. We could do one on just how to engage player engagement. How do we engage the community? How do we engage Spartan Dawgs? All of that stuff. So this is great. I appreciate getting me out, and so people understand what time it is, with just how I believe this could work. But I would love to do one in like 90 days. We'll know more in 90 days what these young fellas need. And I think that's the piece of it is it can't become dogma. Like, oh, the way I think right now, I'm still an outsider. I come in every day viewing myself as an outsider, and people have been welcoming to me. But I try to just see what's the way, what do we believe here? What do we like? Because when I show up, that's me saying I have to believe what these people believe. It's a collective. And so I need to be back on in like 90 days for maybe even the same questions and go back through. The background will be done. But I look at this as the best mechanism I could have for people watching long form content about Spartan programming. This is the audience of people that can help us, right? Nobody's sitting on here for 50 minutes an hour because they're 50-50 on Spartans. Like, this is I need to be here.
Done. Booked.
90 days from now would be the Tuesday before the Penn State game.
The best time it could happen because we'll be down in Detroit. Maybe we put together a little this is Sparta rendezvous.
Yeah,
we just bring some people there.
Local. Let's do it.
We'll bring a laptop, get emails, whatever we got to do.
Definitely.
Done.
No one gets hit with a chair like Jehuu at a WWE or something.
Outstanding. Yeah, do a live show. Maybe we'll do that. Have you all, have you down there with us, whatever. We're going to figure this thing out. Kirk, man, listen, it was great to have you here and let people get a sense of what a dynamic human being you are. And you're going to be doing this to help, the young men and women in this community advance and do what they need to do. Look, and bring and get everybody else to join along. Yeah. That's what's key. 650,000 alumni and even more fams and family that are tuning into this show, are listening to this, and are definitely piqued and intrigued. We'll get your communication out there, like for people to be able to contact you later on as you get your sea legs under you. But definitely thank you for coming on, man. We love having you back.
Appreciate you, brother.
90 days, and then after that, only like every 2 weeks. How about that? Is that good?
Always be closing. Me and Stray go way back on the sales side.
Absolutely.
Hey, look, Stray, we're gonna start seeing that invoice coming in.
Invoice, yeah. Encore Athletics is still a company.
It still is. Yep. No, appreciate it. Kirk Richardson, everybody. Thanks for joining the show, man. Dynamic, man. I mean, look, you just had to sit back and listen.
Soak it all in. You gotta let that conversation breathe, all of that.
Oh man, I'm taking
notes here. The whole time, like, who was our player development?
Who was our player? Yours? You have one?
It was Dino Felino, was it?
That or Volmer.
He was mine.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it was like he got us our job. Like he did what he could with what he had, but he was also wearing a lot of hats.
Right.
If we had this, like,
and he was a father of 12.
Absolutely. If he, I mean, those are like almost
maybe
facts
8,
there. Like
maybe 8.
He has a lot of grandkids too. But if we had this, man, like, yeah, thank God that I've been blessed to get to where I'm at today. But we have to learn the hard way. You got to go through your own thing after you leave and hang these cleats up. But to have that in real time as you're going through freshman year and then to senior year, like, I mean, they got a blessed life to have this resource. And I think that's an element of, like, we're in great hands. Our kids, our guys are in great hands. And like you said, I'm drinking what Kool-Aid? What's the flavor? Like, it's like
it's green, baby.
It's green, baby. It's like
you drinking it? You drinking it? Come on in.
Come on in.
It's sweet, baby.
Straight.
Wow.
You like this jacket?
Man, I love it, man.
So how do you get the white boy? And I like
you like that little on the sleeve there too, a little wording on the sleeve as well.
Swag coming. Look, that swag. This is Sparta swag. He's got it right there. I don't know. He must have found the way to order that. Somehow.
I did find a way.
Can we release that to the people? Can we release that so everybody else can enjoy some swag from This is Sparta soon?
Let's release it on Thursday.
There you have it. We'll wait till then. Chew's word is bond. Chew on his Soul Glow vibe, like coming to America with that shirt. The Soul Glow.
This is a members only jacket here. This is Sparta MSU members only jacket you get here. When you see it,
into them live events.
It's like saying, it's another word out there, like go green, go white, it's a phrase, it's a language, and all in its own. Same thing. My boy Tom wouldn't get this. You say go Bills to someone, that means hello, goodbye, how you doing, you're all right, all those different things.
How your mama and them doing?
Yeah, when you got the shield, that this is Sparta MSU shield, that's a whole nother language itself right there. You just look at that person and be like, I got you, we're cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, 3X. Is that what you said, Tom? We got 3X's.
And look, choose that commercial when you sleep and you wake up. It's like infomercial at 3 a.m. Like,
yeah, it is. My name's Chew. You see my chest hairs?
I don't have chest hairs. I'm that smooth skin. I'm that smooth assassin. Moisturize twice a day. Moisturize twice a day.
Juices and berries.
Go ahead, O. What are you going to roast me for?
I'm not.
Final comment. We're going to take it on out of here, man.
Before Harry, I might hit you. I'm in Boyne. You're in Higgins. I don't know how far that is. Oh, Thursday, you might see me doing the show from the Tiki Bar at Harriet's.
By the way, Harriet did invite us to do a live show at the Tiki Bar. So just know we might get that down. But no, I enjoy this show. I always learn stuff from Kurt every time he speaks, man. So I'm glad we had him on. Obviously, he chose to come onto this show. It was his first public interview in this role. So as you know, it's a huge testament to the platform, but also to the reach of Spartan Nation. No, we got a good guy on our staff that's going to drive this development for our kids. Off the field is the most important. And then obviously, let's think about it. This is a heavy recruiting tool, knowing that he has the access to the scouts. He has the access to the guys in the league that is doing this program in different organizations. So it's a huge testament to bringing him on. So boom, this is a great one on Tuesday. So
that'll get you drafted. Otis, man, that was phenomenal. Breakdown right there. Chew pulled an unauthorized move wearing that jacket tonight. As Mama Stray said that. I don't know.
Go ahead.
Listen.
I thought we got the go. I need to know about this. I thought we got to go ahead. That's why it was mailed out so we could wear it for the Tuesday show. That was what I was told.
Way to stay on task. Yeah. I appreciate it. For Otis Wiley, Jehuu Caulcrick, I'm Jason Strayhorn. This is Sparta MSU. Everybody have a good night. God bless you. And go green.
Go white.
This is Sparta MSU is a combined presentation of Playfly Sports Properties and Michigan State Sports Properties. The show is produced by Tony LaBarbera, Tony Gustella, and Process Driven Consulting. Additional support is provided by Brendan Duravage. On-location technical support provided by Good Fruit Video. Be sure to follow our host Jason Strayhorn, Jehuu Caulcrick, and Otis Wiley on social media. To stay up to date with all the latest This is Sparta news, please like and subscribe by visiting our link tree and tell a friend to do the same. Thank you for your support, and as always, go green.